myself. So.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Okay. Hello, my name's Eric, and I want to ask you all a question. How many of you guys heard the saying guns kill people? Oh, guns don't kill people, people kill people. No one heard it? And keep your hands up if you believe that's true. Yeah? Okay. I want to tell you guys, I think guns do indeed play a role in increasing the danger of our safety. I'm here to say that I believe gun possession in USA fails to accomplish protecting safety of our people. My topic of speech is, should residents of USA allowed to own firearms? So imagine today one of you guys just bought a gun right now, and like just one of you guys just pull it out from the backpack and like just shoot on the bus, and like you see someone just die, and like after you imagine and you see it, like would you want that to happen in front of you? No, right? Obviously. So you'd be terrified of even hearing the word guns. So guns ultimately do more harm rather than protecting us, and I'm going to prove that with 3 supporting claims. First, owning a gun opens up to many possibilities that lead to tragic events. Second, gun owners abuse and underestimate the danger of using a gun. And lastly, guns are easily obtained by criminals through the market. So, my first supporting claim is that owning a gun opens up to many possibilities that leads to tragic events. Guns only cause more injuries and deaths, regardless it's for self-defense or for assault. And it's shown through Gun Violence Archive, which is a non-profit corporation formed in 2013 to provide free online access, accurate information about gun-related violence in USA. And it's been reported this year, 2015, that the total number of incidents of gun violence is 41,000, over 41,000. And out of those incidents, only 3,400 incidents involved officer shootings. That's roughly only about 10%, which is extremely low. And this shows that the rest of the incidents were caused by citizens or residents or just not officers. So which means that if there isn't an easy access to get guns, the rest of the 90% incidents would not have most likely occurred. And self-defense with guns promote gun violence, so also which is why it leads to tragic events. There are many weapons other than guns to protect other than guns, such as stun guns, rubber bullets, and stun guns and rubber bullets that can be also deadly, but also less lethal than a regular bullet. The main reason why gun opens up to tragic events is that the problem of owning a gun is that gun owners rely on guns to solve like every situation, such as like they're gonna get robbed. Even though the robber might not have a gun, you resort to gun. Like you're more likely to resort to like point the gun at them. So my second supporting claim is that the gun owners abuse and underestimate the danger of possessing a gun. On January 10, 2013, at Bakersfield in California, a student was shot and wounded and a teacher was grazed by a bullet to the head, and another student was taken to the hospital for a possible hearing loss from a gun sound. And this incident was reported by NBC News. All this damage was from a single person pulling one trigger, and just from that, a lot of people were damaged. Another prime example of irresponsible gun use is shown in February 4th, 2013. A second grade in Henrico in Virginia pulled out a loaded gun from his backpack and then threatened one of his classmates at the school bus. And that just shows if a second grader can get access to a gun, that means pretty much everybody else can, right? So there's obviously a problem there. And now the third supporting claim is that guns are easily obtained by criminals through the market. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, criminals can get their gun through theft, on black market, or from a drug dealer. Too many guns are lost and go into the hands of criminals without knowing where they get the gun from. So if the citizens did not have the gun to hold in the first place, they would not have any guns to steal, right? So and as you all know, buying a gun requires a background check. So to make sure you're not crazy or anything, they do like a lot of just a checkup. But that is ineffective because why? People have a way to get around that through straw purchasers. There are people who pass the background checks, but they buy purposely for criminal actions. You know, they sell it to other people who wants to buy it for criminal actions. So it defeats the whole purpose of background checks. So, and another way criminals like majorly, like 90% of the criminals get their guns through theft, which is like, you know, the stealing. They rob into your house, they see a gun, and they just steal it, and they have no way to track the person who bought it because, who has the gun, since they didn't buy it, they just stole it. So, yeah. So the problem of all these incidents is the fact that guns are all easily accessed by many people, and it causes so many accidents. So I believe the gun itself is the problem, while the people may be the problem itself too, but mainly I think guns are the one causing the harm to our people. And that concludes my speech, and stay safe. Bye.
Nobody told me he wanted to be called Eric. That would make life easier too. All right. Eric, the audience survey is a little bit awkward, but you do identify the topic pretty clearly, and your proposition is also identified, although it sounds like you have a second proposition that comes right after that, which is kind of an on-balance argument that says that you're going to show that one's, it's more dangerous than any benefit, but we never got any comparison information for that argument, so I think that's a little bit problematic. But there's good preview of what the secondary claims are going to be. You signpost each point as you get there relatively clearly, although, again, sometimes the phrasing, I think, needs to be clearer as a declarative sentence, but organizationally, it's not hard to follow. There are a lot of hypothetical examples in the presentation, plus some practical examples. You've got us imagining a situation in the classroom, and I can easily imagine the response from the refutation speaker say, yes, and imagine that guy who pulled out the gun and shot one of your classmates starts pointing it at everybody else, and they can't do anything about it. Ha! But wait, imagine I've got a gun and I shoot that guy and save 24 other people. So if you're going to use hypothetical examples, you got to be ready for an unusual hypothetical example. If you're going to make an argument, you've got to give us a reason to believe that that argument is the likely scenario or the probable outcome. And I think you've got 2 or 3 of those where you are kind of imagining a situation that needs to be demonstrated. The idea that a prohibition of access to guns to everybody is workable is kind of a premise of your argument, and I'm not sure that you ever demonstrate that. Some of your examples are pretty good. I mean, nobody's going to deny that there are gun accidents, that there are gun incidents, and that guns get used in crime. But your argument is that it's the gun that is producing these effects more than it is the people that are producing those effects. And so I think you need to show, for instance, that the rate of gun ownership affects the level of crime, or that the possession of a gun enhances or encourages the degree of violence in any particular circumstance. Again, we're just kind of down to hypotheticals, and your hypotheticals aren't even about criminals, they're about people who are defending themselves. So hypothetically, you could use a rubber bullet or a taser, but if you've got a gun, you're more likely to use the gun. I'm going, well, that's from that perspective. I think the people on the other side would be using a different perspective. What's the likelihood that they're going to get robbed at a liquor store by somebody who's got rubber bullets? That's not the argument that I think addresses that issue. The frequency with which, or the easy availability of guns, the high rates of gun ownership, that's where you want to be looking at to show that there is a link between the possession of guns and then the crimes that are being committed. I think you do a nice job speaking to the audience. There's a statistic that you present at one point, about 90% of the guns are acquired through theft. I think you need a source on that. I thought you did a good job speaking to the audience for the most part. All right, thank you.